Good to see everyone. And we are looking at our student days. So if you look at the first slide, I can introduce myself. My name is Steve. I am from Scotland, and I live in Canada just now. And I can tell you that I was at the University of Glasgow in Scotland, in Glasgow, where I'm from, amazingly. And I think this is quite interesting to discuss myself because university life is usually a big part of people's lives, and what we studied usually tells us a lot about what we're doing now as well. So it's a very interesting topic. Let's go around the room. Everyone can introduce themselves and tell us about where you're from and your answer to the questions presented on the first slide. So who would like to go first? Andrei.
Actually, I could start. Yes, my name is Andrei. I live in Odintsovo. It is in the neighborhood of Moscow. I graduated from the physics department of the Moscow State University back in 2002. Actually, this topic is rather interesting to me because students' years are special for everyone. They're associated with our youth, and mostly we have happy memories about those years. So I think it is interesting to discuss it. That's my opinion.
Great. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right that a lot of people remember their student days and their university days very, very happily, very fondly. Yeah, great. Thanks for sharing, Andrei. Who would like to be next?
I can continue.
Okay.
Do you hear me?
I can hear you well, yep.
Sorry that my camera is off. I will repair it later. But my name is Anastasia, and I actually finished. I graduated from the same department and the same university as the previous speaker. It's amazing, but it's so. I graduated from physical department at Moscow State University also. And what's information I need to give else?
If you think this is an interesting topic to discuss.
Of course it's interesting because I think that it's the most important and the most, I don't know how to say, maybe funny part of our life. For example, up to me, I learned 5.5 years and then 2 years more in PhD, and so it's quite big life interval, so it influenced me a lot.
Yeah, it's a big part of our life. We spend a lot of time at university, certainly, and so it certainly has a big effect on us. Yeah, great. Thank you. Thank you for sharing, Anastasia. Who would like to be next?
Okay, I can be the next. I am Dace. I'm from Latvia, and I have graduated Latvian University law faculty. I'm a lawyer, and afterwards I graduated faculty of economics, and I received MBA there. So, and as regards this topic, of course, it's nice, it's funny, and actually, it's as you said, it had influenced our life, and we have our lifelong friends mostly come from this period of life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is another part, not just our lives, but the people around our lives as well,
Yes.
of course.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, And do you now work with something that involves both of your degrees, Data, or did you find that after you got your MBA it was a focus on MBA, or is it still very much with law?
Actually, I'm lawyer and I work as a lawyer, but as I'm a head of a law department in a big company, so it's very useful for me know those economic things and management things. It really helps me.
Yeah, great. So it's good when we can find use for our degrees as well, that they're not completely irrelevant to what we're doing. Yeah, fantastic. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Just one language point here. Funny is for something which makes you laugh. So this is a joke. Ah, ha, 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 ha. This was so funny. But fun is for an experience which is enjoyable. So it's such a fun time of our life. Fine, it's such a funny time of our life is also possible, but only if we're always laughing during this.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Thank you, Data. Thank you for sharing. Who would like to be next?
Okay, I will continue. I'm Konstantin. I'm geologist. Most of the participants of the group I already know because we participated in different conversation meetings. I graduated from Tomsk State University. Maybe you don't know, but in Siberia there is a very beautiful city, Tomsk. It's a really student city. And I've been living in Moscow 2.5 years and working as a geologist now. I'm working mostly as an office geologist. And why this topic is interesting to discuss? Of course, it's interesting to discuss because it was student time, crazy time. You know, we all were young. I don't know. We have we get acquainted with many people. We had a friend at that time, and it was just interesting and fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Interesting, fun, and certainly when we compare it to our responsible adult life, maybe a little more interesting, a little more fun, certainly. Than when we have responsibilities and a full-time job and things like this. Yeah, great. Thanks for sharing, Konstantin. And then Alexandra.
Yeah, hello.
Hello.
There is some noises. Yeah. So my name is Alexandra. I was graduated from Siberian Automobile and Highway Academy, but my specialty was IT specialist. Actually programmer, exactly. And now I'm working in a big IT company, multinational, in Moscow for 2 years. What can I say? I like my specialty. I like IT and all the current trends in my field. It's just interesting for me, and I like my work. I'm not a programmer actually, I'm a manager, but still I'm working with a lot of programmers, testers, analysts, architects, and for me, my company, we really do interesting things. Interesting for me.
And do you find that your degree prepared you for the work that you would be doing, or is it pretty different from what you studied?
It helped me, first of all, to get this job, and it helped me on some basic computer knowledge. Of course, they always very useful. And so, short answer is yes. But when I start working, of course, I needed more skills. For example, English language, management skills, and some others.
Yeah, so it helped, but it wasn't the be all and end all. You still had to learn other things after university.
Yes.
Yeah, great. Fantastic. I think everyone had a chance to introduce themselves, so great. Let's move on to the next slide. And maybe this is something that you can relate to, that the exquisite art of idleness, one of the most important things that any university can teach, said Oscar Wilde. Do you agree or disagree with this idea? That's it. What do you think about this?
Actually, I disagree with this idea. Maybe if you just study and don't do anything else apart of it, of course you will have some time to idle, or do, how would be to say correctly, just to hang around.
Yeah, hang around is great. There is the word idle as an adjective to say that someone is idle, or to a verb that I idle, he idles. It's not so common. Hang around would be better here, or laze around, or something like this.
Okay, but I would say that this quote is quite weird for me. And I don't know in which context Oscar Wilde said it. So I don't agree with him.
We're allowed to disagree with people. That's okay. Does anyone else disagree with this quote?
Actually, as for me, I quite understand the context which this phrase by Oscar Wilde refers to. It refers to the times when he was a student, maybe 100 years ago, when, as I imagine, British universities were a kind of gentlemen clubs for noble people. And the most important thing, the most important task was to socialize, to get contacts, useful contacts in the university, and not to learn very much of science, so to say. So this phrase was quite correct for that period of time, and to some degree it is also true for nowadays life, because not everyone studies at the physics department. It's very difficult to study. Most students choose much specialties, and this phrase is also true for them. That's my opinion.
Okay, so it's for you, it's more relevant to past studying, but still a little bit relevant nowadays, depending on the speciality or depending on your course.
Yes.
Or degree program. Oh, okay. Does anyone else agree with Andre that it's more a historical thing, not so relevant to now? Konstantin, what do you think about this?
Okay, I disagree with Oscar Wilde about his quote, the exquisite art of idleness, one of the most important things that any university can teach, because I was passionate for studying. It was interesting for me. It was interesting for me. Yeah, and actually, I didn't have much free time during studying at university.
So no idleness, no exquisite idleness for you, Konstantin. You were working too hard.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, great, thanks. Anastasia, what do you think about this?
I think that from university we should extract the balance from these two points, the rest and their study, because up to me, for example, now I'm in other field of and working with other things that I studied. And in my case, I extracted from university a lot of friends and other connections that who I talk now, who I get connection now. But at the same time, I studied hard, and I think that it teach me to learn new things and so on. That's why I think we should not only to study in university, but also to try to find new friends and new people. So it's maybe it's a partly true statement.
Yeah, it's an interesting point that it's about finding a balance between working as hard as we possibly can, but also recognizing that there are some other aspects to university. Great, thanks, Anastasia. And Alexandra, what do you think about this? Do you think Oscar Wilde has a point, or are you against what he says?
I was thinking about what can I say. Actually, it's hard to say. Agree? Am I agree or not? Probably I agree. Because from what I see now, I have a nephew who is in university now, and from one point, like yes, he is working hard. Okay, he have a lot of work. He's doing for university, but actually it's still pretty relaxed time, because you don't really have any responsibilities. Your parents give you money, and all you should do is go to university and do what they say you to do.
Yeah, what they tell you to do.
They tell you to do, yes. So it's not real life still, and you still can relax.
Yeah, there's still a big safety net for you, or something like this. It's
yes.
You're out of school, but you're not quite in the real world yet.
Yes.
Yeah, interesting. Thank you. Thanks to everyone. So we're going to move to the next slide now. And in this, we're looking at some statements, and we have to choose the statements that we most agree with. So for this, there's, you see now that there's these statements. Let's read through them first. So as a student, I had a thirst for knowledge. I was inclined to be a very laid-back student. I was prone to attending all lessons because our teachers took attendance. Sometimes I skived classes, or I skived off from classes, or I skived... I skived off classes. I was racking my brains to try to remember new words. I wanted to know all subjects inside out. I often crammed before my exams. I never buried myself in the books. Life is so short. I was good at meeting deadlines. I acquired a lot of useful and... I acquired a lot of useful and practical knowledge. Sorry, I had to hide you for a second so I could see that. And most of the content I learned was irrelevant. So I'd like for us to choose the sentences which are most true for you. Anastasia, why don't you lead us off?
Okay, I can say that I don't often crammed before my exam, because it was impossible. All of my exams was connected with mathematics, and it was impossible to remember all stuff in one day, for example, before exam, and that's why I didn't do it. So I used all the preparation time that I had for exam. That's why I can't say it about me.
Oh, I think that's more than that you had a thirst for knowledge, that you didn't want to just cram, that you wanted to learn it properly.
Yeah.
Good, great, thank you. Alexandra, what would you choose?
I was good at meeting deadlines. Of course, sometimes, pretty often, tomorrow is an exam, and 2 days prior to the exam, I was starting to learn things. Well, at least 2 or 3 days, not in last night.
Yeah.
And
We could still describe this as cramming before exams. That it doesn't have to be the day before or the night before. It can be, the few days before, the week before that you have this intensive learning period. So this would be cramming.
yeah, okay. And very often I knew that I will prepare for exam and for the exam, and then I will help other students at my group to help with their preparation.
And this is also good for learning, that if you try to teach someone else something, you often clarify it for yourself. So this is a good study technique.
Yeah, so I used it because I was good at everything. It was interesting for me, and I helped other students, so I was prepared a little bit before the exam, so I had some time to help others.
Yeah, great. So would you also say that you wanted to know your subjects inside out, or was it enough for you to have enough to pass the exam?
Honestly, have enough to pass the exam. Sometimes some subjects may be to know inside out, but mostly just pass exam and that's it.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Andrei, what's your choice for this?
Yeah, not very pleasant knowledge. No, how to say, reminiscences on my part, because I turned out not very much gifted in physics, so it was quite difficult for me to study. And yes, actually most of the content I learned was really relevant for my this job. And yes, I often had to cram before my exams, and so sometimes I skipped classes also.
Yeah, to go to the library. I mean, skiving is usually when you would go to the pub instead of going to your classes, or not do any work.
No,
If you're going to the library, I think you can give yourself a small pat on the back.
Yes, not because yes, you are right, and not always to go to the pub, but to go to the library to have more time to study the material, to get prepared for some tests, so labs and exams.
Yeah, so here then we could say that you did bury yourself in the books.
Yeah,
that it was necessary
I had
for you
to do it to survive, so to say.
Yeah, no, I think this is often true, that there's usually one subject which you really need to study hard for, because it doesn't come as naturally or as easy as the other ones. Often this happens. Yeah, great. Thanks, Andrei. That's it. What's your view on this?
Actually, I also can join the view that most of the content I learned was irrelevant. But actually, I think that it's normal. You study a lot of subjects, and when you start practicing and when you start your career as a lawyer, you cannot know everything. Criminal law, civil law, administrative law, all criminal procedure, and so on. And you go into follow just one path or one line of law, and therefore the most part was irrelevant. But anyway, even this part is useful sometimes, because I know somewhere in my brain that there is such a, I don't know, law on data, or law on something else which can be relevant when I'm working. but of course I must admit that some of subjects was actually useless, like, I don't know, for example, history of law, when we studied, I don't know, history of Russian law, British law, and so on, so on, so on. Actually, I don't remember anything about that, and it was, in any way, it is not useful for me.
Mm-hmm. But for other things, even if you don't remember it completely, knowing that it exists or having the feeling like, oh, I'm sure I read somewhere at some point about this, lets you search for it or lets you go and find out about it.
Yes, yes. I actually want to say that it's very good when you know that there is some field of law which exists, and when you really need it, you can find it and elaborate on it. But if you don't know at all, then it can be dangerous for you as a lawyer.
Yeah, it's good to know what you don't know, if that makes sense. Like, know that there's a gap in your knowledge rather than not knowing this gap exists.
Yes, yes. Some sense, you have to have some sense of it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Thank you. And Konstantin?
As a student, I was at first for knowledge, and of course, sometimes I skipped classes as any student. And just once, I was trying to cram before high math, and actually I did it, but it was once in my life because I realized that at one level I just understand nothing with some functions and so on, and that I tried to cram, and I crammed and I passed, but after, I don't know, 1 week, I forgot absolutely all because I think it's absolutely, at least it's not my way to study like this, because for me, I just forgot later all of I crammed. So, and I was not good at meeting deadlines, maybe like most of the students. That's it.
Would you say that you were laid back and this is why you didn't meet these deadlines? Or sorry, you were good at meeting deadlines or you weren't good at meeting deadlines?
In my understanding, the deadlines were when was the time to pass exams, and most of the students actually was not ready to pass exams as me, and not because I was lazy, because maybe I lived in a dormitory and I need many things to be done, like to prepare at least dinner for myself and to do the laundry and so on. So I didn't have so much time for studying.
Yeah, you have other responsibilities. So this is more like I never buried myself in the books completely, entirely. Life is short, or even I have other responsibilities.
Yeah.
I must say I'm very impressed that most of you said that you didn't skive so many classes and that you weren't so inclined to be very laid back. So I'm sure this is why you were all very successful in university. Well done to everyone. Let's move to the next slide, and in this we have some questions to work through. And so, what things would you never forget about your student days? Andre.
As for me, I believe exam periods, that so many information at such a short period of time, I would never remember any longer, and nowadays I can't imagine how could I survive that period of time. Actually.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yes,
wow.
maybe because I was much younger, but nowadays it seems impossible to me. So this is what I can say regarding number one.
Yeah, great. Does anyone else have anything that they will never forget about their student days? As an open question for everyone.
I think the big part of student life is parties. And I think I would never forget those parties we had in dormitory, in flats which was rented by other students, and it was also a big part of student life.
Yeah, absolutely. Though I'll say my student self would tell you if you can remember the party, then it wasn't a good party. But that was my student self, not my adult self. My student self says this. Yeah, great. Any other things that you think are unforgettable from your student days? Again, open question for everyone. No? Okay. Let's move on to the second question then. Alexandra, what was your biggest disappointment on your first day as a freshman, and what did you generally not like about university?
I remember it was okay. I don't remember the year, but the cell phones was just appeared on the market, and everybody started to use cell phones, and I didn't have one.
Oh no!
It was a little bit disappointment for me.
Yeah.
I understand this question is not about this; it's about this.
No, yeah, well, but it can still be if you turn up to university as a freshman and your first day and everyone's playing with their cell phones or their mobile phones, then I think, of course, this will be disappointing and you'll feel disappointed independent of the university.
Yeah.
Was there anything which you didn't like about the university?
No. It was a group of people, my group, we didn't know each other, so we were all in the same situation. We started to meet each other, normal process, so nothing really disappointing.
Good. Good to hear. Again, open question. Did anyone else have a big disappointment on your first day as a freshman, or anything you didn't like about your university?
Actually, yes. For me, it was some type of challenge because I came to study to the capital of Latvia, and I came from a small city. And therefore, all this big city life for me was something very, very new and sometimes not very welcoming for me.
Mm-hmm.
And it was time when Latvia has economic recession, and all of us had little money, but especially those who came from the countryside, and it wasn't easy time for everybody, but especially for those who came from the countryside.
Yeah. Did your university do anything to help during this case? Were they able to?
No, actually no. And in addition to that, my parents paid to my studies, and it made it even worse. And because of that, I started to work from the second year in the university.
Yeah.
But anyway, I had good practice. It helped also.
It's good to have to have a motivation to get through university in a good period of time. There's no time for resets or anything because you know how much it costs. And
yes.
That's a view. Anyone else have a disappointment on your first day as a freshman, or something you didn't like about university?
I would like to share my disappointment about my first time at university. You know, when I came and the how to say, commandant of dormitory, the head of dormitory.
Warden.
Yeah, warden. It could be there are different names depending on where you are in the world. But let's say the head of the dormitory.
Okay, the head of the dormitory gave us the room, and you know, the room was absolutely, the door of the room was, the lock of the room was absolutely broken, you know, and the deadlock just went to door handle, you know. it's absolutely awful. You even couldn't lock the door, and the conditions, of course, in dormitory were very, awful because yes, it was a really hard time. It was like for most of the students, I think. We had just a small quantity of money, and we had a tendency to spend it too quickly. And to say more, there was, hazing, when
Hazing.
how bullying, when all the, four how second courses, yes, second and third courses,
Like
bullied
the second year?
second year
That's
students and third
uh-huh.
students hazing, first year
Yeah.
students, freshmen, and it was a hard time, and most of my soulmate just left the dormitory because it was impossible to live.
Oh gosh. Yeah, wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
it was a
bullying
tough,
is
fun but tough time.
yeah. Bullying is tougher or harder than hazing. Hazing, I get the idea. It's a temporary thing because you are new. So you're a freshman, and so the second, third, fourth years, they haze the freshmen just as a kind of fun welcome to the university. So it shouldn't be dangerous things or violent things or anything. This just like making life a little bit tougher for them. So maybe shaving cream on doorknobs, or making the water be cold or something like this. It shouldn't be hard things.
So if it's hard things, how do we name it? If it can't, if it was really hard.
If it's hard and persistent, if they're really, like stealing your money and things like this,
and heating and so on.
This is stronger than hazing. This is more like bullying, as you said. So bullying would be where someone in a stronger position takes advantage of this stronger position to hurt, to somehow give advantage to themselves over weaker people in a weaker position or in a lower position. And often we talk about this in school for school kids. Maybe there's like a big kid who beats up the little kids and takes their lunch money. Then they would be a bully, and they would bully the little kids. But
Could you please type those words in this chat?
Yes, I can. So bully is both a noun and a verb. So he is a bully. He bullied me. He bullies all the people. And haze is the other word Constantine was saying. Haze as a noun is like a mist or a fog or something, like a cloud you can't see through. There's a haze. But haze as a verb is this sort of, it is bullying, but it's more fun bullying, like an entry procedure into a school or something like this. It shouldn't be violent. It shouldn't be harsh or hard. It should be fun, in inverted commas. So a disappointing situation for you, especially as a freshman, Constantine.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's move to the third one. Do you remember any funny stories from your student time, Anastasia?
Oh, actually, all years in university are full of funny stories, and I can't select individual stories, but I think that all days in dormitory life were like funny stories, because every evening after studying we discussing something, we joking with each other, and I don't know, maybe during exam time, when we were in room for the whole day, it was the most funny time, because we are learning and discussing the same things, and I don't know, had really fun with it, because three persons per room, it's very it's very usually funny.
Yeah, you can certainly have a lot of opportunity for fun when you're sharing with friends.
And by the way, our university had opportunity for summertime to enjoy a university camp, and in this camp there were a lot of activity, and I remember a lot of any sportive activity, and also parties, and I don't know, any plays and games, and there are a lot of students, and it was a wonderful time, because it's on the sea, and at the time with the same people who studied with you.
Yeah, so a lot of fun times during these camps, certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Anastasia. Alexandra, do you have any funny stories from your student time?
No, I can't remember any stories actually. It was a lot, of course, but not any one of them just came in my mind.
Yeah, nothing jumps out at you, but you remember having a lot of fun.
Yes.
Yeah. Does anyone remember any funny stories from their university time?
I do remember one. We had tutorials of computer science, just simple user needs. And one of students asked our teacher, how can we write Roman numbers? I cannot write them. And the teacher made very serious face and said, oh, you know, you have to have very specific Roman keyboard in order to write Roman numbers.
So these are like Roman numerals with the V and the I.
Yes, yes.
Oh, I bet he never lived that one down. Yeah, good. Great. Yep, very good. Anyone else have any funny stories from university?
Maybe me.
Yep.
Of course, we had a lot of funny stories. I think all people that studied in university had plenty funny stories. You know, one of the funniest story I know, when my friend, you know, he was drunk. We were celebrating something. It was a normal, you know, normal situation in dormitory, and we were sitting. You know, we lived at 7th floor, and we were sitting just in the room, and you know, it was winter. We just and somebody knocked in the window. You know, from outside.
On the 7th floor. God, gosh.
Yeah, and you know, we were shocked when we opened the window, and there was a man outside of the window, and it was my friend. You know, we asked. Of course, we helped him to get into the room, and asked, "What happened, man? What happened, Daddy?" And he said, "You know, we sent him to buy some beer, but we have, you know." How to say, the man who just check your permission, enter permission, sit down, the woman who sit at the first floor and check your permission, just let you go, or
to get into the house, to get into the building, or
to check into the dormitory.
Yeah, you could talk about a doorkeeper or gatekeeper, or
doorkeeper. It's a good word. So the doorkeeper didn't let him. the doorkeeper let him out, but didn't let him go in because it was too late, and he was drunk, and he just, he just used metal pipe, yeah, for rainy water.
Yeah, a drain pipe.
He crumbled, yes, how to say, correct?
No, climb is fine. He
Climbed
up the drain pipe.
Seven floor, and at every floor he just knocked the window, and they didn't open him. Maybe they afraid, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, that's a very funny story. I think you win the funny story, Constantine. Well done. I give you a prize of, I don't know what I can give you a prize of, but good job. Yeah, great, very good. Let's move to the next question. Andrew, what advice would you give to someone who wants to enter not just your university, but university?
No, I would suggest them to choose a future profession very carefully, with much deliberation, because it will will influence the whole life. But of course, I understand that it is easy to say, to recommend, but it's very difficult to implement, because a youngster, 17 years old, can't, how to say, can't realize well what he wants to do in his future life. Doesn't have a clear image of the profession he has chosen. So professional orientation is a very important thing, but it's very difficult at the same time.
Yeah, but I think good advice, certainly, Andre, that you should try to think about what you want to get from university, although easier said than done, but definitely good advice. Does anyone else have any advice for someone who would like to go to university?
I would give advice to, if people have already chosen in which section he or she will study, then I would give advice to visit some real people who are working in this field, in your profession, and then to spend with them a day or week or even a month, and to get this feeling and understanding what does it mean to work in this profession which he is going to acquire. So
yeah, definitely. So try to get someone else's experience. You don't have a lot of experience yourself, so try to get someone
because
else's
sometimes it's just some imagination or some dreams that, for example, I'll be a lawyer, it will be cool, I will earn a lot of money, but sometimes it's not so easy, not so prestige when you get up, while you are getting up your career and receiving this prestige in society and so on. Sometimes you have to work almost as a secretary if you have no talent, for example.
Yeah, so you don't immediately go to the top of your field. It's good to realize that as well as a student. Yeah, great, thanks. Any other advice?
I would give a small advice. And yes, I agree with Andrei that it's very important to understand what profession do you want, and because maybe it will be the choice of your life, and if it will not be, you will just spend 5 hours just for nothing. And it's very important to be responsible while choosing your future profession. And maybe some other advice, just yes, to find a balance between fun and studying, because if you missed something, if you didn't miss something and passed the exams and just forgot it, you know, after university, you just pay money for it to get this information to study something that you missed in the university, and it was free, for instance, because you got free educational. So that's it.
Yeah, take advantage of your opportunities, but also the other side of that is realize that when you've graduated and you have money, that it's also possible to find other ways to do it. Alexandra, do you have any advice for a new student?
No, I just agree with Anastasia, I think, yeah, about spend one day or a week or how long you can to understand what the profession you are thinking about. It's really important, so I just agree, and no more advices from me.
Yeah, I think that was Datsa's advice, so well done, Datsa. And Anastasia, do you have any advice for...
Actually, I agree with everybody. I only can add that yes, it's indeed very important choice to select which university you want. But I think that people should choose the profession, the area in what they have some talent, or they at least prone to have a desire to study it. And if they enter it and understood that it's not yours, I think that they should study, learn nevertheless, because I think that all areas are important, and for example, at any faculties you can select maybe some subjects you can learn superficially, but in what you're interested you should pay more attention and maybe to go deeply in it. So you should be more selective in our education program.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. Follow your heart, find something which you enjoy doing. What's the old saying is, if you find something you enjoy doing, you'll never work a day in your life. So I think that would be the ideal. Brilliant. I want to thank everyone for your participation and for sharing your views and your knowledge. It was really great speaking to all of you. I hope to see you again in a future Speaking Club section. And thanks to all of them. Cheerio. Cheerio for now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for your time. Bye.